Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm going to read you a chapter out of Ancient and Modern Brits by David McRitchie. This chapter is about the identity of the Picts and those who are related to them. The Picts are a tribe of ancient individuals or ancient nations that once were in Scotland and also Finland, and also a couple other places as well. It's quite interesting to get a description of these individuals in this said tribe and those like it. Okay, so we are in chapter 7 of the book, and it says, Let it once be understood that the Picts of history were blackamoors. And if you look at this picture, this is what blackamoors look like. So we get an understanding of their identity, their physical representation. The question next arises, could they have been related to the Scandinavians as some aver? I think there's a little misspelling in this book, but nonetheless, basically, so they're saying that could they also be related to the Scandinavians? So the Scandinavians must have been alike the Moors as a physical representation. Keatley says that the Picts, who early seized the Scottish lowlands, were akin to the Scandinavians. So they're pretty much saying that they have two Moor tribes or two black tribes. And Martin, in his description of the Western Islands of Scotland, says that it is generally acknowledged that the Picts were originally Germans. Okay, so we got black Germans here, and particularly from the part of it bordering upon the Baltic Sea. While another last century voyager, Pennant, in speaking of the Round Tower at Briton, remarks thus, the learned among the antiquaries are greatly divided concerning the use of these buildings, as well as the founders. Some think them Pictish, probably because there is one at Abernethy, the ancient seat of that nation, and others call them Danish because it was the custom of the Danes to have an alarm in time of danger from high places. The writers I have quoted are rather old-fashioned and unscientific, but the opinions they repeat are held at the present day. Therefore, it becomes evident that some race of Scandinavians must have been black Huns also, with physical characteristics approaching those of the Pictish Moors, either in the Australoid or in the Mongoloid direction. And since the Mongoloid belt stretches generally north of the Australoid, it seems likely that any possible Scandinavian Picts belong to the former rather than to the later type. There really happens to be a tradition of a Hungarian invasion of Scotland. Hector Bochi, in referring to this legend, tells us that while some write that they were Hungarians, others say that they were a company collected from Scots and Angles. This was in the year 875, the date of a Danish invasion of Scotland. But this statement recalls the Huns proper, of whom something has already been said. They, it will be remembered, united in their persons, the qualities of two great types under consideration. They were of a dark complexion, almost black, deformed in their appearance, of uncouth gesture and shrill voice. They were distinguished, says Gibbon, from the rest of the human species by their broad shoulders, flat noses, and small black eyes, deeply buried in the head, and they were almost destitute of beards. They had attained to such a degree of power in the 5th century that they were able to exact an annual tribute from Rome, so that the empire might be secured from further injury. They had previously occupied all the territories that had been abandoned by the Goths, whose dominions reached from the Baltic to the Euxine. After the death of Attila in 454, their power waned, and gradually, as Huns, they disappear from sight. Okay, so I'm not going to read the rest of this chapter. I just want you guys to get a general understanding of the Picts, some Huns, some Scandinavians. I mean, we're talking about black people. We're talking about black history. That is not spoken about, which is unfortunate, but is also interesting. It makes the the looking for the information. It makes it worth it to find this information and also share this information. I'm not here to say that one nation is better than the other. I'm not here to say that as black people we dominate the whole world, but I'm not saying that because that's not true. But what I am saying is that we have history outside of what this country allows us to understand or wants us to understand, and that it is worth searching it out, and it's worth sharing it, it's worth understanding, and it's worth just being able to have the knowledge. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is what you can use against the likes of racism. So the way of fighting, things like racism is with knowledge, with understanding, with this type of wisdom. So that's all I'm saying, y'all. I just want y'all to get to understanding of black people in Europe, black history in Europe. We never would have thought it, right? Never would have we thought that black and Europe would go together, but it does. So I want you guys to pick up the book. If you're interested, Ancient and Modern Britons. There's 2 volumes, and it is worth the read. So God bless you. I'll see you on the next one.